Okay, good weekend, everyone. I hope you guys are enjoying your weekend this weekend. I know you have a video, but you know you miss your math teachers on the weekend, so you're enjoying your video this weekend because you have Coach Groves and Miss Green here. I'm not even going to let you intro yourself today because we're just amazing and you want to hear our voices all weekend long. Right, Miss Green?
Yes,
you miss us over the weekend. So we're going to do some more linear relationships. Yay! Yay! She totally wrote in my yay for me.
Yeah, for sure.
So our learning target, we will be able to represent linear relationships by using tables, graphs, and equations. I really hope you write your learning target and you're writing your notes because, hint, hint, we're changing things up a little on you. You may see a surprise on Monday.
Are we doing it with preap?
Oh, I'm doing it with preap.
Oh.
Ooh. So you might want to take your notes. Hint, hint.
Yeah, take your notes, for real.
For real. Yeah. Okay. So that's your learning target. Pause it if you need it. What we're going to do is given a table. That doesn't all in there. Write the equation and sketch the graph. So I'm given a table.
They don't see that question anyway. They don't need to see the question.
Yeah, they don't need to. I'm given a table, and I have to find the equation and then graph it. Oh, boy. How do I do that?
But it's easy because we know, first of all, can you please write down y equals to mx so that we can once again identify what everything is. Okay, so first off, our m represents our slope.
Yes.
Okay, and then which is the change in y over the change in x.
M equals the change in y over
fancy.
Change in x. Ha, the little triangle, just so you mean, it's delta. It means change.
Right.
So I'm just getting fancy there. That's the same thing as y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Just so you know, I looked up on their star charts. They are given this formula.
Awesome. So. There you go. Okay, great. And then B is going to be our y-intercept. And once again, our y-intercept is where it intersects on the y-axis. So that means when it intersects on the y-axis...
That means when x equals 0...
Here we go.
Oh, okay, so that's super easy.
So I know we'll be able to do this.
Okay, so let's start with writing our equation.
Okay.
First things first, let's find our slope.
Okay, our slope, let's go and do that.
We're just going to pull 2 points. I personally like the easier points of using 0 and 1.
Me too.
Because it's easy. So the 2 points I have are 0, -9. And yes, I like to write these out separately. And 1, -1.
Can you circle it so that they see that's what we're talking about?
That's the 2 points I picked.
You can pick any 2 points,
remember. Can. If you wanted -1, -17, and 315, totally. I like to make it easy because 0 and 1 are easier to add and subtract.
I maybe even would have done these 2 down here just
because they're positives. And I've done that too.
It's your choice.
But I felt like throwing in a negative.
That's fine.
So this is going to be my x1, y1. And I'll make this my x2, y2.
Whoa. Can I make these x2 and y2 and then y1?
Absolutely.
Okay, just making sure.
I just felt like using those.
I'm just letting them know that you can trade them however you want.
So y2 is -1 minus y1 is -9 over x2 is 1 minus x1 is 0. So -1 minus -9. When I do this, keep, change.
They don't need that. They got their calculator.
They do have their calculator, but in case they're trying to do it in their head, because mine are trying to do it in their head, I want them to remember that.
Mine are too, and I tell them all the time to use their
calculator.
Plug it in,
yeah.
All the time they ask us to use their calculator, and then
we finally give it to them, and they're like, I don't want to use it. And I'm like, use the resource I give you. It's not cheating.
You're never happy.
Not cheating.
Happy. Okay, here we go.
So this is 8. 1 minus 0. That's 1.
1.
So my slope is 8 over 1, which simplifies to 8.
Okay, let's plug it in.
So y equals 8x plus b. Now, Miss Green, do I have to plug in x and y to solve this?
No, because that's your equation. Your equation has to have the x and the y.
Well, I mean, to solve for my b.
To solve it. You can, but I've got a table.
I have a table, and it's got 0 on it. When x equals 0, that's my y-intercept. Right here. Y-intercept. I don't know if I spelled that right.
You did. Good job.
Good.
Oh, wait,
what?
Is that an S and a C? Goodness gracious.
No, that's an R.
Intercept. Okay, just making sure.
I spelled it right. I don't know. So my equation is y equals 8x minus 9. I see a lot of you guys that put y equals 8x plus -9. All you got to do is just take out that and because... You don't need both.
I told my students, if you want to, that's okay.
But
it's very rare that you'll see it that way. On any test that is given to you, you're probably going to see it this way. So just be sure that if you want to do it that way, you know that it actually means this.
Exactly.
Because remember, I mean, adding a negative is the same thing as just subtracting.
Exactly. So that's just, I mean, it's the same thing. You just end up with two signs here and it gets a little confusing. So
I'm just going to box it in so that you see
that's our answer.
Our answer. Okay, so
now let's graph it.
So you can either use your table or use your equation. Either way, you're actually supposed to use the table because that's what we want you to do.
I actually have always done from the equation.
But I want them to be able to do it from the table.
Do you want me to do the table then?
I want them to be able to see it with the table because I think it's easier.
It is a little easier sometimes. So I've got -1, -17.
Here
are my points.
Here. We got this. We got this.
Yes.
You can just...
There's my table.
There's the table just so that you guys can... There you go.
What do you think I should make my scale at for... There we go. My graph.
Maybe...
I could do this. Do we want this as ones?
Yeah.
So 1, 2, 3, 4.
We're looking at the X values
6.
right now to figure out what we should go by.
And then my Y values, you want to do 3s?
3, 6, 9, 12, 15. I think so.
Yeah.
3s is good. Because if we don't get to the 17, that's okay.
12.
Because we just want to graph the line. We don't care to make sure that it goes through every single one of these points. We just want to make sure that we've got the actual line.
9, 12. I knew I was missing something somewhere. And this would be -3, -6. This is -1, -2. You guys
we're
know
done.
that.
Yeah, we got that.
So 0, -9 would be right here. Because that's -9. I'm gonna skip that one for now because it's not on my graph.
Not on the graph.
And then I've got 1, -1, which is actually probably about right here. Because you've got to think this is -3, so I've got -1, -2 in the middle of that. So that's where -1 is. And then I've got 2, 7, so 2 up to a little over that 6 to 7.
Yep, we want to make sure it's just a little bit over, which it is.
And then 3 all the way up to 15. And you'll notice my dots are all in a little line. Granted, I'm not perfect.
It's not perfect.
The graphs aren't perfectly straight.
It was a man-made graph.
Yes.
So it's not going to be perfect.
But for the most part, those dots should go through it. I was a little off on one, I'm sorry. That's the graph of my line.
Awesome.
That was pretty easy. Let's move on to write the equation and sketch the table. Sketch the table, fill in the table. So let's start with the table. So we've got 1, 2, 0. So I'm going to put 2, 0 is a point right there. I got another point here, which I went over 1, up 2. So 1, 2. I'm sorry, my table's just going to be backwards. And then I've got 0, 0, 4. I mean, it's the same thing. It doesn't make a difference. It's still the same table. It's just out of order. I'm going to keep that as my table for right now. I can add more in just a second.
Yeah, we're just going to do those 3 points.
Just those 3 points. And now I'm going to come up with an equation. First off, is this a positive or a negative slope?
But hold on. Hold on. You said you're going to stop because of those 3 points. We could technically, because there's a pattern.
There's
0, 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 1, 0, -1, -2. So
hey, look, I did.
We just want you to know that we only did the 3 points, which generally that's what we're going to ask you to do. Just graph whatever you see. But on any given test, it might go all the way up to 15. You don't know that. So you need to make sure that you find that pattern so that you're able to fill in a table.
Yeah. So now, what was my slope? Positive or negative? I can look at that and just instantly say, nice negative. I love slope, dude. He's my favorite.
He is my least favorite.
Oh, but he's so great.
Oh
because my kids will remember him now.
My kids haven't even brought it up, so I'm just going to pretend we didn't talk about it.
I'm not. So we have a negative slope because it's going downhill. It's nice and easy to go downhill. So we know for sure that slope is negative. So I'm going to start by putting my points in. I'm going to use 0 and 1 again. So I've got 4.
Wait, what are you doing?
I'm going to put in my y's, -2. This is my y2.
We're supposed to be making an equation based on the graph, though.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Remember?
I'm sorry. Let's do it this way then. Off of the graph. I'm going to go 1 over 1.
Well, first of all, let's identify our y-intercept, because that's easy.
Our y-intercept is 4.
Yeah, so let's do and it's a positive 4, so it should be +4.
mx plus b. This is +4.
Why are you writing it sideways? Miss Groves is losing it.
Sideways.
It's going that way.
That's how my board looks every day. What are you talking about?
Oh my gosh, this is awesome. I get to experience Groves, live. Anyway, so we know that this is a positive source. It's good. Positive 4. So now I'm looking for my slope. So
and I know it's negative, so I'm just going to throw that negative.
Yeah, because we know we're going to go down, because it's always rise over run. Rise doesn't just mean going up. It also means going down.
So if I want to do rise over run, I'm going to start at this point so I can go up. 1, 2.
Which is
So I wrote 2 over 1.
which is negative because you're going to the left.
Which I already put that negative in there for us. So up 2 over 1, 2 over 1 equals 2. My slope is negative 2.
Okay, I'm going to do it just a little bit different because that's not how I did it in my class. I just start here and I go downward.
And you can do that.
Because this, once again, rise can mean up or down. So I would go down 2, 1, 2, which is negative 2, and then divided by a positive 1, which is still negative 2. So I'm just showing you guys there's a different way.
You can go down or you can go up. Did I just create our triangles that we
sure
did the other day?
For sure, because you can even go from here all the way up here and then simplify it.
And
So
you
that
would count
go
1, 2, 3, 4,
which is positive 4
over 1, 2,
which
negative
is
2.
which still equals to negative 2. So, man, look at that. And there's my pretty little triangle right there.
Those right triangles. If you don't remember, just draw a triangle.
There you go. Here we go. Here's the next one.
Next one, last one. Sketch the table in the graph of y equals negative x minus 4. So let's start with the table.
And we're going straight from the equation. We're not going to go to the table, and then we're going to go straight from the equation to the graph.
Yes.
So here we go. Let's start
So
with our...
the process for this would be to plug in your numbers. So if I want, let's start with, for here, I love to do negative 1, 0, 1, 2.
Just to have a negative in there.
Yeah. So what would negative 1 times negative 1 minus 4 be? What's negative 1 times negative 1?
Positive 1.
Minus 4.
Negative 3.
Then I'm going to do the negative 0, which I know doesn't really make sense.
That's a negative. You can't really see it.
I'm sorry. So what is negative 0 or negative times 0? Just
0 minus 4, so
is
minus
negative
4.
4. Then I've got negative 1 times 1 minus 4. So what's negative times 1?
Negative 1.
Minus 4 is negative 5.
Oh, I see a pattern.
I am too. And one more, negative times 2 minus 4. What's negative times 2?
Negative 2.
Minus 4.
Negative 6.
And we're done with the table. That was pretty easy.
Okay, so now
Let's graph it
from our
the
equation.
here. So let's start with our y-intercept.
That's
negative
easy
4.
to find. So here we go. All the way down.
1, 2, 3, 4. That is on the negative side of the axis because
Will you
that was
label it as negative 4, please?
Negative 4.
I should have numbered these. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So then our negative x. Whoa, negative x. That just means it's a negative 1x. And I did this on purpose because we see negative x a lot, and you guys kind of flip out over it. Just remember that if there's no number, it's a 1. Because how many x's do you see? 1. So it's negative 1x.
And that just means it's got a negative slope. So we're going to go, if I go up 1, that's a positive. I need this to be a negative, so I'm going to go over this way 1. And then up, over.
And see, I'm the opposite. When I see the negative x,
over.
I think down 1, positive 1.
And the
Down
reason
1,
I didn't do
positive 1.
down was because I don't have much graph there.
We can do it once.
We can do it once. We can go down 1,
Over
over
1.
1.
Either way, there's our line.
And so let's graph it. I love to use a ruler, otherwise my graphs look very wonky.
For the most part, it looks pretty good, other than our man-made graph.
Yes.
Woman-made graph.
Woman-made graph? Yes.
Okay, you guys. So
That's
if you have any
it.
questions, come see us. Hope you enjoyed the video.
Be ready for something special tomorrow.
And when we say special, it's not anything like candy.
Fun. No. It's fun for us.
It's fun for us to watch you just squirm a little bit. So just make sure, let me say this again, you have all of this written down.
Life will be easier.
Peace out.
Bye.